Good morning, afternoon. It's not afternoon yet. Just about, though. How is everyone feeling? You know, I'm constantly taking in advice on my videos, so thank you all for your advice, right? So I guess I get on my video and I don't really say who I am that good, right? Because to me, it's like, it doesn't really matter. I'm Sara Richardson. I'm a cheerleader for the divine. I said I was going to quit coffee yesterday, and I caved. I had my beets, I had my aminos, I had my greens, I had all that stuff, and I still wanted a cup of coffee. So I drank one. Sometimes we got to give in to those temptations a little bit, guys, right? And so I put on my video, can you have compassion for the devil? I'm Sara Richardson. Always think up, cheerleader for the divine. Do you have compassion for the devil? I can get from an unwanted to a wanted relationship. So I've been seeing a lot of people. I pulled a card. I was deep today with spirit. And I saw a lot of people today talking about, can you have good relationships from bad relationships? Well, of course you can, silly. Because we're all coming from really bad relationships and we're creating the good, right? So yeah, of course. Of course. I've been seeing a lot of people talk about this, like who have been through bad relationships and don't trust with their heart to go out and have new ones and go out and start new ones and go out and try new ones. And I just want to tell you that that's like pretty much, what this whole entire message is kind of about. And so, do you have compassion for the devil? Everybody's out here talking about compassion this and compassion that and compassion for themselves. Do you have compassion for the devil? The darkness, the evil. What is compassion? Let's look up. I'm big on, I've been looking up these meanings. Sympathetic pity and concern for the sufferings or misfortunes of others. So, in compassion, sometimes what I'm learning is that there are layers, right? As you walk away from one unpleasant situation, the laws of attraction will bring another that feels very much like it, and usually quickly. You just cannot get there from there. To get to where you want to be, to that place of feeling better, you have to reach for the alignment between you and you. Getting yourself feeling good before you take action is always the best process. For when you do not feel good, you cannot be inspired to any action that will solve the problem. Woo, it's you and you, right? Walking away from one unpleasant situation. We have a lot of unpleasant situations that come up. And I guess you could say that that's that devil energy, right? But what this is saying is if you avoid that energy, you're going to keep bringing that in your life to show you, hey, there's something in here that you're avoiding. You're avoiding this. That's why you keep attracting this, right? Because it feels like a cycle and it just keeps going. It feels like the same relationship patterns, the same things just keep going and going and going. I get it. I live it, right? The evil in you, the evil that you see around the world, the evil that you see, it's in us, guys, right? Because that's how love is. We literally are all connected in love. So if you see somebody doing something that you don't agree with, it's an energy. It's not per se like that certain whatever it is that they're doing. It's an energy that thing carries with it. And so you might not have that same thing in you that they are doing, but if it fires you up in a way that other things don't fire you up, it's for you. It's a lesson for you. It's for you. It's not the devil is coming in. It's a lesson for you. It's you know, the reflection of what we see. It's inside of us, and that's hard to swallow. And I know, and I love you, and that's why I wore my Pink Floyd shirt on the dark side of the moon. You know, I don't even really listen to Pink Floyd. I listen to healing frequencies and drums and stuff, right? But Pink Floyd has been like a really big part of like my meditation and my healing process, because my healer listens to Pink Floyd. I go out, that's all in there, and I go other places. But you know what's really cool about that is, you know, meet me on the dark side of the moon. That's like having compassion for the devil that's in anybody, having compassion for the hurt, the evil, the meanness, the anger, the fear, all these things are in people. And so when you're spending your time mad at someone else, you're just avoiding yourself. When you're spending your time blaming someone else, you're just avoiding yourself. You know, can you see the hurt behind the evil in the world? Because compassion really is like when you can see the hurt behind you and the bad things that you do and have done. And when then you can see the hurt in the world, and you know, it's both ways. When you see it in you first, then it's easier to see it in the world, right? And so people throw around this compassion stuff like, I got compassion. That's just fake, man. It's fake. Do you have compassion for the devil or whatever you think that to be? Whatever you think that is? I don't believe in evil. I believe only love is real. And that's a hard thing to get on here and talk about, because then people want to hit you with all the bad things that are going on in the world. And then I am like, okay, but that's going on in you. And then they're like, fuck you. And I'm like, okay. And you know, this is what keeps happening. I am learning to have compassion for the devil. What that meant for me, what that darkness, what that internal damnation, like what does that mean to you? Because to me and you, that could be like a completely different thing. And it's having compassion that exists, and then having compassion that each of ours is very different, right? And still needs compassion. Like, what are the levels of condemnation? Like, who levels that up? That's instilled in you. That's instilled in your vibration. That's the kind of shit we're releasing, and it's ucky, right? The old you is dying. So when you're releasing this ucky, the old you is dying, and then like you're rebirthing a new you. So like when you're releasing the ucky, when you're going in these places inside of you, and you're really looking and finding compassion by seeing yourself in that other person, right? That's like the root. So on a root chakra level, the old roots are dying, and new ones are coming in, and that process feels so ucky sometimes, right? It's just ugh. You can feel sick, you can feel tired, you can feel disconnected, you can feel lazy, you can feel all these different things that are just terrible, right? But when the old roots die, you feel it. You're going to feel, coming from a vibration of people that just avoided themselves and their feelings and how they felt and just kept moving to the program, right? Now we're stopping that, and we're cutting those roots out, and we're trimming that up, and we're clearing that up. And so you're going to feel it. You're going to feel it in your physical body. You're going to feel it in your spiritual body. You're going to feel it in your mental, right? You're going to feel it. That's healing. That's the old stuff inside of you is holding you back. So why you want it to die off? You want to go through that process. It's like everybody's scared to die, or whatever. So then they leave the old branch on, and you can't do that. You can't leave the old stuff on and think that you're going to go into this new life and this new feeling and this new age, right? You have to cut the roots out. You have to go in you and see, okay, where is this programming taking me in my life? Where do I feel programmed in my life? What programs did I cling on to with my energy? What programs are keeping me back from my heart's desires, right? This is you time. This is big time, deep time, self-reflection time. It's sacred time with yourself. You know, with your time, when you go in for the compassion for the devil, that's a sacred time. That's going into your shadows. That's sacred. You know, the moon is helping you amplify. All these things are working in your favor, and yet you're mad. You're mad because of what somebody else did or said. You're mad because of what somebody else thinks or wants or whatever. It's all about you. You are the master. Learn something new out here. Go out here and learn about something new that fires you up. You want to get fired up in this life, right? We could all walk around in our old wounding for millenniums, right? But who wants to do that? That's why you spend time with them. That's why you find compassion for them. That's why you learn to love yourself. Self-love. Self-love. You know, a lot of people are talking about self-love and their minds go off somewhere about you're sitting there playing with yourself. I mean, I guess that's where you get. Like where you are playing, you learn how to be with yourself and all of the things with your own self, right? You know, old resentments need to die, right? And so finding the compassion for the devil, that phrase that I put, right? That's what's going to help old resentments die. Like we could say that we forgive them or whatever, but yet deep down on the inside, we're holding this resentment for them, thinking that it's them. But then when you find that compassion and then you flip that on you and you hold that through and you nurture that through and you love on that and you get intimate with that and you have compassion for you for having that inside of you, then boom, your old resentments die. You don't care. It's not that you don't care. You don't get into your emotional fire about certain old things that used to get you into your emotional fire when you go inside and start to love the fire inside of you, the darkness inside of you, the evil that's inside of you. We're all good and we're all bad, and that's just it. That's just it. You choose to embody enlightenment. You choose to embody enlightenment every day, every minute, every second, every time it comes in. You get the choice to embody the enlightenment that is coming down to you from wherever, right? You choose to feel that all through you. You choose to make love to that. You choose to want to get to know that, to get intimate with that, to understand yourself better, right? You know, manifesting is as natural as breath, literally. Like, we manifest like we breathe. You know, I used to talk about the 86,000 breaths, right? And we literally do manifest with every breath. And we don't realize it. And we don't give ourselves enough credit. And we don't have enough compassion for the darkness. And a lot of the darkness is what's manifesting, and then we don't understand that, and then we're confused within our own selves, and then we're mad at everybody, and then everybody is evil, and that person is the devil. That shit's in you. I just wait for people to message me because a lot of times people aren't ready, or like sometimes if I see something, like I'll give the message that I get from spirit, but it's always in you. You know, somebody said to me the other day, okay, so if this is in me, like, you know, the neighbor or whatever, and whatever you're going through with that, is that in you too? Yes. I had to go back to my neighbor who was saying all this stuff, wishing death upon me, saying I was the devil. Evil. I had to go in to me for, you know, and it folds out different. Like first I had to have some compassion for me, like, because what's this old lady bumping up against me, like what is she doing? I try nothing but to help her. And then then I had compassion for her. Well, she is an old lady, and I know that she's been through these programmings, and I know that self-avoidance is a big social structure. Okay, and I know that I'm more aware, and I know that she's stuck and she's afraid and she's alone and she's going through all these things. And these are the conversations that I have with myself about an interaction that I have with somebody that feels like it has that devilish energy, that feels like it has that, I don't know, like that devil energy doesn't feel good. And so, yes, when I go through something bad, yes, that is in me. When I meet a cheater, that is in me. When I meet a liar, that is in me. When I meet somebody that ignores me, that is in me. When I meet somebody that talks above me, that's in me. When I meet somebody that's just like me, that's in me, right? All of it is in you. Every reflection that you have, every relationship that you have that energy in you too. And so in a relationship or whatever, the energies are always dancing in a polarity. So sometimes this person might be heavy up here, you down there, vice versa, right? We can't see the energy, so we're just going off the visual of the physical, and the physical is an energetic illusion that we manipulate with our thoughts, feelings, and actions. We're all witches, bitches. We're all witches, bitches. We're all out here manipulating energy. You know, it's funny because I've been working on my words. It actually came up in here. You know, we stop ourselves subconsciously through our words a lot of times. And like, when you get really good friends, then your friends will start to talk about that, right? And so as you're talking about something, as you're doing your normal patterning of talking about something and maybe avoiding, you know, internal feelings or whatever, when you start to attract new friends, your new friends are like, I don't know, sis. Like, that was a really hard time, but you really give up on love? Like, we are love. You really give up? You give up. You give up on you? You give up on me? You give up on us? No. That's lack. That's uncertainty. Sit with that shit. Have compassion for it. That's the devil that they're talking about, right? Lack and uncertainty, right? Sit with that and learn to have compassion for yourself, and then learn to have compassion for the others that have lack and have uncertainty. You know, lack and uncertainty bring a very heavy energy. Lack, uncertainty, jealousy, envy, all these things, that's the devil to me. That's the darkness, and it has a really heavy, heavy, heavy energy to it. And so, you know, it really doesn't do anything for you. And a lot of people don't know how to get rid of it. And getting rid of it is just doing the opposite of systematical avoidance. We're going to do like systematical feeling, right? And then we need to find the balance, the center between systematical avoidance and systematical feeling too much. Do you see that happening in the world? Do you see how, you know, our ancestors were trained to avoid everything, and then all of a sudden these kids came out and we're feeling everything, and now we're trying to find a balance of what needs to be ignored, what needs to be paid attention to, right? What needs in you and then in everywhere else, right? It's your choice. The programming about this is systematical avoidance of your feelings. You know, that is what we have been taught. That's what everyone's been taught. Don't talk about that. That might hurt somebody's feelings. Don't say it that way. That might hurt somebody's feelings. You know, the reason why we avoid ourselves is for others, but then the problems that we have are with ourselves, and then we blame others. Internal peace is bliss, y'all. Like, internal peace is bliss. Like, to really get to the place where, like, I just believe that the devil is an energy. I don't believe it's some creepy thing coming up to get me. I don't think it's something that I'm not strong enough to work out. Yeah. Do sometimes get really heavy? Yeah. Do sometimes I have to sit a little bit longer? Yeah. Cry, do it different, not know what I'm doing. Yes, 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 right? But, you know, a lot of people are living in the place of regret of the past. You know, everybody will say, okay, we'll just let it go. Well, obviously, as you see, people don't just let it go, right? When you're living in regret, you have to literally feel compassion for that. You cannot just let it go. Like, that's systematical avoidance. That shit don't work. You literally have to feel it, embody it, go through all the regret, feel it, because if it's coming back up into your life, you've systematically avoided it. Like you were taught to be a good little bot. Spirit feels. The spirit in you feels. You're a feeler. A lot of people have resistance. You know, the resistance is avoidance. You know, avoidance is what causes resistance in your life anywhere. You know, at being attached to the past causes a resistance to have compassion for the right now, right? You're so stuck in a mistake that you have made in the past that you can't even be here right now. That's crazy. I love you guys. I want you to be here with you now. I want you to find the compassion for yourself for what you're going through and the evil that you think that you're up against in this life. I want you to go in there, talk about it, call me. Hello. 11:11. Yes, it's 12:12 here. 12:11, but it's about to be 12:12 here. I love it. You know, a lot of people are like having a lot of really delusional ideas right now about things, and I hear it and I see it every day. And you know, if I'm thankful that I have compassion for that, and I know energetically like what it is and where it comes from, and so I just see that person as their whole self. That's what I have been working on a lot more. You know, a lot of people have an inability to discern, right? And so like you can't make a choice. And so, you know, feel into your choice, feel into yourself, give yourself this option, give yourself this option, give yourself time and be away from everybody to actually feel, you know, think this option and see how that makes your body radiate, and then think this option and then see how that makes your body radiate, and trust that. And what everybody else says doesn't fucking matter. It's how you feel. You know, we have been taught to systematically avoid the way that we feel and do what we think we're supposed to do. And all the while, it's the wrong fucking way. Can we be and have compassion for everybody who was trained to systematically avoid themselves while we are learning how to feel? That's hard. I love you. You do have to feel into your choices. The inability to discern is just you not knowing yourself and trusting yourself. You thinking that these big scary monsters can come out and get you and do you dirty. That's you give your power away most of the time. You know, give thanks for the un. So I'm constantly giving thanks for the un, you know, and when I forget, I notice in my life, right? So in my journal in the morning, I always give thanks for the unknown, the unseen, the unexpected, the unthought of, the unthinkables, the surprises, the conversations, the money, the connections, everything. And I get deep in it. And, you know, a big part of, you know, manifestation is breath, right? And we manifest what we feel. And so, like, if you can learn how to make love to yourself and you get yourself excited, and then you're speaking these words that are everything is your choice. And so if you feel like you're depressed and you feel like you're in the doo-doo and you feel like you're all of these things, you need to learn how to work with your mind and think about what you're thinking. You need to learn how to sit with your shadows and see what you think is good and see what you think is bad, right? You need to sit with yourself and see how certain people or work or things make you feel, right? And sometimes the decision isn't like what anybody else, you know, I've quit a lot of really high paying jobs and people are like, what the fuck? I'm like, I don't know, dude. Some just don't feel right. I don't know. It seems like everything makes sense, and it seems like it was like a message from the divine, but then something just don't feel right, and I trust that more, and I get what you're saying, but I trust that more. And being able to just say that, like, I love you, and I get what you're trying to say to me, and I get where you're trying to push me to, but I have this feeling inside me, and it's not the same as what you're saying, and I trust that more, and I love you. That's how you know that you really worked through some emotional shit. Timing is impeccable, whatever that means. You know, we're talking about, do you trust the devil? Do you have compassion for the devil? You know, that is within you. Right now is the time to create. Every time is the time to create. Every time I get on these videos, I'm going to say, right now is the time to create. 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 Every breath you get another chance. 86,000 breaths a day. Please fucking choose you. More. More. Choose you more. A little bit more every day. You can't get this wrong. Just if you keep choosing you a little bit more every single day, I swear to God, you will get somewhere better, right? Pinky promise, my daughter says. Use what restricts you to expand you, right? That is one of the biggest things and the best things and the juiciest goodness that I learned in this life is that the things that restrict you, the things that make you feel stuck, the things that make you feel off, wrong, whatever, use that. How do you use that? People say you sit with it, you nurture it, you give it love, you give it compassion, you make love to it, you make love to yourself, you learn how to love yourself in that restriction. You breathe into it. You just keep breathing it and breathing it and breathing it until you feel, you let things come to you and you nurture those things that come to you and you learn how to get compassion for them and you bring them in and you get yourself to a place where it doesn't make a difference between the light and the dark. It really is all the same. Let me just love it. You have to love yourself. You have to love what restricts you. Learn to love on what restricts you to expand it. Oh my God, Haley does that too. Once it's a pinky promise, it's sacred. It is. The pinky promise is fucking sacred around here. I mean, and that's the thing, like your sacredness is you. You create your experience. You create how blessed and sacred the experiencer is, or how devilish and evilish and all of whatever that is that you want to do. You do what you do, you, and I still love you, boo. Right? So find compassion for the devil. Whatever that means to you. I don't know. That's my word. That's what I'm supposed to come out here and talk about today. How fucking crazy. I hate whenever Spirit makes me come out and like talk about this shit. And it's so funny because like I got dressed. I didn't even know what we were talking about. I got my Dark Side of the Moon shirt on. We're talking about the dark sides of us. We're talking about finding compassion for the dark sides of us. Finding and seeing that the reflections that we're bringing in our lives are showing us in us our dark sides in us, but we're too busy fucking paying attention to them that we're not even giving ourselves any love. I don't care what you say. That's what's going on. It can be them and them and them and them, but it's you. It's you. You have to find compassion for the darkness in you. You have to see how their darkness mimics off of your darkness. Have compassion for that. Grow compassion for that. And then boom. It's a fucking breakthrough in the name of love. We are not systematically avoiding ourselves anymore. We're not doing that. We don't have friends like that. If my friends want somebody who's going to systematically ignore some bullshit, I probably am not going to be your friend. I will not. And I want friends who let me know when I'm systematically ignoring myself too. Because we're not doing that anymore. You know, when you surrender to the restrictions, it takes time, right? It takes time and we can't pick the time. And a lot of times that gets frustrating, right? But it's completely different than systematical avoidance. Completely different. When you surrender, that means that you are in it. You are in a bathtub of the demons. You're in it. You're just in it. You're not running from it. You know, energetically, we seem like we're right here. But like when I work with somebody, I can tell if they're over here and I can tell when you're not lined up. I love you. That's why I do what I do. I still don't know the name for it. I just say I'm a cheerleader for the divine. I get these messages. I get them my way. I understand them my way. I get them through people. This is how it works for me. And I'm telling you, this is how it's going to work for you too. You have to learn how to fucking love yourself. Deep. when to take action, when to chill back. It's a relationship within yourself. You have a divine masculine and you have a divine feminine in yourself, and they are both so far beyond pissed off from the systematical avoidance of self, and now they don't know what the fuck to do. And now you're feeling that, and now and you learned a couple lessons over here, but then this came up over here. You feel like you're brand new. This is what is happening. We're learning to, instead of systematically avoid, we're learning to systematically feel into the divine masculine and the divine feminine and all the wounding and all the darkness and all the everything within. When Adam wanted Eve to submit, or Lilith to submit, when they said that, you know, she was cut from the rib, whenever they ate the fruit and they had to, and all that, and everything before that. The hurt in men and the hurt in women, we carry that all within us. We are all connected. We literally are. Freedom is a mind frame. Freedom is a mind frame. Get your mind right. Always think up. ALWAYSTHINKUP.com. I'm going to start putting more on my page. It's up to you to get your mind right. What are you thinking in your mind? If you are thinking that there is a devil, if you are thinking that there is evil, I would say start right there. It's, you know, I mean, it's kind of like up in the journey, but fuck, if that's what you think, then that's where you need to just go in. That's what everybody's waiting for, like the perfect time to get on the train. Just fucking jump on. You just go right in. When you're ready, just go. Like, all right, I'm learning. Let's go. I'm facing this. I'm surrendering to this. I'm going into this. I've been avoiding this for how long, and now I'm just going to go right into it. You're a catalyst for transformation. We came here to get this. You're a catalyst. So as you do this work in you, as you figure out about your shadow self, as you figure out about the devil, about the evil in you, and learn to have compassion for that, trust me when I tell you there are people watching you. And there are people that need you to do what you need to do on your timing, to get inspired by you on their timing, right? You know, a lot of people right now are feeling like people are receiving mixed messages from them, or maybe like they're getting in a message and it's mixed up or whatever. Like this mixed message thing has been coming up a lot. And I just want to say, just keep sharing your wisdom. You know, there's no comparison to you out here. Like, you are a special, divine, superhuman that nobody compares to on this world. And so a lot of times when you get hung up on these mixed messages and what other people think and what other people feel like about what you're doing and how you're living and how you're feeling and how you're doing, those are mixed messages. And so my advice to you in that is keep sharing your wisdom. When it pops up on your back porch, when it comes to you, when it's your neighbors, when it's your family, when it's your friends, things that have worked for you, things that you feel confident about, things that fire you up and inspire you, keep sharing that with people, right? It doesn't matter how I do it or how so-and-so does it or how whatever does it or whatever you think, you know, there's no comparison to you. Everyone is in a different place of their creation. Hello, beautiful. So, you know, you got some people that are creating families, you got some people that are creating businesses, you got some people that are creating infrastructures, you got some people that are creating artwork, you got some people that are creating land art, sand art, whatever, right? Everybody is in a different place of their creation. And so if you're getting caught up on where somebody else is, that just tells me that you're not in your ship, your starship. Get in your starship. Get out of everybody else's business and get in your own starship. You know, like my house is like my starship. Myself is like my starship when I walk out. You know what I mean? That's what you have to really feel into that. Feel into your feelings about that. Feel into the power that is, right? We got to do it, guys. We got to share our wisdom. You know, a lot of times people don't like to share things because they don't think that they know enough. And I'll tell you, like, I can so relate to that. You know, like in a lot of this stuff, I felt like I didn't know enough to talk about certain things, and certain things will come up. But I only know what I know and what I feel, and I just speak the truth about the way that I feel. And so in that, you really can never go wrong. So if we're coming from a programming of, avoidance, social avoidance, right? And we're getting into a programming of feeling, you can never be wrong if you just tell the truth on how something makes you feel, right? Because that's not a solid. That's just how that makes you feel. That's part of the process of the shadow work, right? And so we're normalizing that. And so by sharing your wisdom, you're helping somebody else be inspired to share their wisdom about something that hurt them. And it's energetic. It doesn't have to be the same thing. They'll get the message energetically of what you're doing. A lot of people are unsure about sharing because of them and them and them and them, and they have it better and they have all this stuff and they're ready and they're set up and they have support and they have followers and they have all that. Doesn't matter. None of that matters. Them and them and them and them don't matter. That's just a thing to social, that's like avoidance of self, right? That's okay. You don't want to share your wisdom because of her, so you're avoiding yourself or him, right? You want to be right. You want to be solid. You want to be perfect. Okay, guys, I'm going to tell you that there's no right, there's no solid, and there's no perfect out here. Everything is fluid. Unconditional love is fluid, right? Perfect is the good and the bad. Perfect is when you mess up and when you get it right. Perfect is when you say something and then the next day somebody brings you something and it goes against what you said, and then you reflect on that and you're like, yeah, I feel that, right? There's no right way when you're sharing your feelings. And this is like very uncharted territories. Like this is not a normal thing that a lot of people have been doing. And so you can't get it wrong. And then like if you get it wrong and then you find out you get it wrong, there ain't no shame in nobody's game that's feeling their feelings that can't say that, hey, I did this and I got it wrong and I'm sorry. Just do it, guys. You have to do it to the point of it becomes like a casual thing for you. You have to feel your feelings and express your feelings to the point where it becomes casual. Like I remember whenever I first started like working out my feelings, they would just like throw up on people, right? And I would be like, and sometimes that still happens. But like now I handle it better. Like before I used to be mortified to share my feelings with somebody. And now, when I mess up, I can just like laugh at my own self like much faster, So you have to do this and share your feelings and be real with yourself and get into compassion for the devil that is within you, and till that comes casual. Like, anytime something comes up in your life, you can go and bring that back with you and feel into that till you have compassion for self and then compassion for others. And then the restriction is gone, and then you take the action from there, right? So a lot of these relationships that are like breaking up and stuff, you need a break. You need a break. You need a break. You need to break to yourself. You need to take yourself. You need to get yourself into your sacred bubble. You need to make your house your light ship, your starship. You need to make your body your starship. So when you go out here, there are no demons out here attacking you. They're all within. Compassion that. Woo! If it comes to your path, it's for you. If it comes on my porch, it's for me. It's for me. Like, do I want it, what comes on my porch all the time? No. But it's for me. I know when it comes up on my porch because I mind my business. I stay in my stillness. I do what I do. I reach out to who I feel. I do my thing. When it comes on my path, that's for me. If it's your stuff, it's your stuff. And that's how I can tell the difference. Now, a lot of times your friends will call you about their stuff and they're bringing that on your path, but then it's not your stuff. So you learn how to have compassion for self, compassion for the other person. And then you know that that's not your stuff. Do you care about it? Yes. Do you send love to it? Yes. Do you wish the best for it and hold in the best vibration? Yes, 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 right? But you're here to worry about your path, your starship, your vessel, what you feel like, because what you feel like is what you're going to attract, and that is what you're teaching. You're vibrationally teaching lessons every day. If you have kids, you're vibrationally teaching them social avoidance through programming of things we're used to doing, right? The shit goes deep, man. Fuck what anyone else is saying out here. Systematical avoidance is showing out. The way that people have systematically avoided their feelings is showing out. on the nation. And so I give peace to the nation, to the world, to the planet, because systematical avoidance is going on everywhere. And divinity is rising. And then within oneself, that could feel like a war. Because you have to clear up your vibration, or you're just going to fizzle out. It's too heavy. The things that we're carrying by avoiding our feelings, it's too heavy. You have to pay attention to yourself. You have to love yourself stronger, better. You have to take these words that I give you, and if you don't understand them, ask your guides, ask God, ask Spirit to explain to you what I'm trying to say through this message, right? You gotta learn how to have compassion for the devil. You know, I know all of us come from different faiths and backgrounds and stuff, and I just talk energy, guys. I try to find the words that people will understand to link it up with the things in their lives, but it's an energy term. It's the darkness, it's the it's the shadow side, it's the shadow work, it's the work, it's the work, it's the work. You know, is anybody on here going through something where you feel like maybe like the devil is up in your life, or like you have unwanted relationships in your life, or you're stuck in your life, or you're facing a lot of resistance in your life? Is anyone feeling that? And do you think it's somebody else's fault? Do you think somebody else out here has the power over what you do or become or think or say or be or whatever, feel? You have the power. You know, a lot of times we're sending mixed messages with our words, right? So what are you saying? What are you saying? You know, if you want to be abundant, are you saying that you're broke? If you want to be in love, are you saying that you don't need nobody? Or if you want to be happy, are you mad? Like, what are you saying? And are your audio and video matching up? Is what you're saying and what you're doing lining up? And it's okay if it's not. Go in there. Find compassion for that inside of yourself. Then you'll see others who also don't feel that way too. And then that'll bring you to a whole new level of compassion for them. Right? Because we're all the same out here. So if you're seeing somebody that just don't get it, where ain't you getting it? We got to work on our words. I've been working on my words, guys, for a while. It's work. You know, and like when the words go bad or, you know, heavy, then that's normally the place that you want to give up. I know that. That's a really rough place when the words get heavy. That's a place where you need to go in and find compassion for yourself. Find compassion for those heavy words. Take that heavy word and take it all the way back through your ancestral lineage and see and have compassion for all those people that had to deal with that heaviness of that energy of that word. It's an inner struggle. You know, there are challenges. We can get impatient. We can feel very hassled, right? Find compassion for those things. What are you sending to the universe? What are you sending out to the universe? You know, people say, Sarah, you spend a lot of time in that journal. Yeah, I do, because I'm trying to alchemize the thoughts and the feelings and everything, and I'm trying to turn it around, and I'm trying to live in my vision. And a lot of times, the only person that I had was my journal. The only solid kind of conversation, the conversations that I was looking for, the conversations that I actually ended up creating in my physical life. Go me. Celebrate yourself. Where do you know, look back in your lineage when you get angry because somebody's celebrating themselves and somebody's proud of themselves. Go back in and find that heavy. Find that. You know, if somebody's celebrating themselves and that got you pissed off, you got to figure out why. Because we're supposed to celebrate ourselves. Yeah, do some people overdo it? Yes. But that's their shit that they're trying to work on. Maybe they're trying to think up out of some deep shit. We don't know. Thank you for the inspiration. I love you. I'm working on the words that I send out daily to the universe. Big thing with me and my friends was, hey, bitch. I don't say that anymore. I'm trying to really, really think about the words that I'm saying, especially whenever I am talking out this dark energy. I feel like I'm alchemizing it somehow that way. Like, I feel like whenever I go in and I take my time with it and I find the compassion with it, then the way that I speak it out, it's not in a way. It's like in a love-making way. And that takes work. That's not just something that you have to work that into your life. You have to, like, first be aware and then take it in and give yourself that time and then, then take action. Like, that's just like a whole thing. Familiar things attract familiar things. Vibrations attract. Surrender to your fears. A lot of this devil stuff or whatever you link to that's fear. You have to have consistency to your vision. And so if everyone's constantly, if you're pumping yourself with fear, if you're worried about everybody else, if you're doing all of these other things, you aren't going to have a consistency for your vision. So, like, one of the biggest things about my journal is my consistency to my vision, right? So when things would start going off, I would go in my journal and I would be consistent with my vision, no matter what that seemed like to anybody else. And then the things that I was taking in, I would know that was me, that was for me, that was to me, so I can get these things that I'm envisioning and move forward. I have to know that it's not going to show up on the timing that I expect or think that I can work it out. It's going to test me in my flow to get me to flow more, to quit trying to be so controlling about the timing of everything. Hello, loves. I believe in a fair world for everybody. And I know a lot of my friends do too. And I love you for that, right? But in order to believe in a fair world for everybody, you really have to go in and get you some compassion for the devil, for the evil, for the bad, for the hurtful, for the painful, for the fearful, for the all that stuff. You have to. And that's where you heal, and that's where you inspire others. And it's an energetic thing. You don't even need to have words, or you could be like light with it or whatever. It's an energetic thing. Sometimes in believing in a fair world for all, we have to cut people off out of our lives, right? And wish the highest and greatest good for them and you and everybody, right? We have to be the truth to attract the truth. We have to be the truth to attract the truth. The more truthful that we get with ourselves, the more our reflections are truthful with us and themselves, right? Karma is an energy from the ancestors. So a lot of things have been coming up about karma and what do I think about karma. And, a lot of the karma I think is like the darkness, the shadows, the devil, the evil that has been just lingering in our family, right? And so if this karma, this devil type energy keeps lingering in your family, and then you're becoming aware of it and you aren't being able to handle it and process it, and it's getting in your way and it's tripping you up and it's doing all these things, do you not think that is a message to you from the divine that you are supposed to clean that up in you? And how do you clean that up in you? Let's see. Sara's been talking about this whole video. I take all that stuff that feels so bad and I sit with it. Good morning, love. And I make love to it and I breathe on it and I breathe through it and I hold it with me till I can find compassion for it, till I can find compassion for that other person, till that whole shit just breaks free, and then you just break that shit. It can't be karma once you work through it and you don't have that emotional attachment of like, that's the devil, or they're going to get me, or they can do this, or they can do me, and I'm beneath, and that's a subconscious programming. And to come out and to break out of that, we must feel ourselves. We must feel ourselves. We must stop avoiding ourselves. Today, please. Please. If something comes up for you, no matter how silly it seems, it's for you. If something comes on your porch, if something comes into your life, if something comes on your phone, if something comes in your messages, it's for you. If you're having a hard time with it, bring it to me. I'll help you. I'll help you. It's funny because I was just talking the other day and I just got this vision in my mind right here when I'm talking about this. I love Moana. It's my favorite movie, right? I just love it. I love the beach. I love the seashells. I love the water. I love I love the girl. I love her family. I love the coconuts. I love the village. I love the fucking movie. I love the the circle, the healing circle. I love the heart. I love when Moana goes up and puts her forehead on, what's her name? Terai or whatever, on the demon's forehead. And puts the heart back in, and then she turns into the green girl, right? And so, like, that to me is like symbolic for what I'm trying to tell you to do here. Do you have compassion for the devil? Can you put your forehead up to somebody who you think is the devil and love them? Everybody wants to cut somebody off and block somebody out and do this and do that. You don't have to do any of that. When you sit with the devil and you have compassion for the devil and the demons, you know, Moana is just a child. So the way she looked at it is, I got to do this for my family, right? I'm just going to go do it because what else do I have to do? And then all to find out that the devil and the goddess are the same fucking person. It's you. Oh, the fears, the shadows, the unknown. Gather the facts, guys. It's you. Systematical avoidance has been so fucking real, and we are squashing that shit out. Don't let your friends avoid their feelings. Ask them every time, how does that feel? How do you feel? How does that make you feel? Nurture their feelings. You're allowed to feel all of that. I understand that you feel all of that. I have so much compassion for those feelings that you have. That's logical. But it's not logical in the systematical avoidance lane. Sit with the hurt in you. That's not logical in the systematic avoidance lane. If something hurts in you, please go in and love on that. Use your intellect to prosper. It's in you. Pursue your ideas. Quit worrying about what everybody else is doing. Because I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, they ain't doing shit. If you ain't doing shit, they ain't doing shit. The people that you see, I guarantee you. Show appreciation for all that is. All for everything you have, for everything you want, for everything you've been through, for everything you've been in. The energy is between the words. Like, the energy is between the words. Right now, we feel like we're in between two worlds. We feel like we're in between a world of social avoidance and really feeling it all. That's where we're at right now. And that's why it feels so weird. We are in a world energetically where two things are going on. Either people are avoiding themselves or they are feeling it all. We have to find compassion for this time. Express your journey. Express your journey. If you hurt a couple people in expressing your journey, send out the highest and greatest love for all. This is real. This is how I really feel. Express your journey. Everybody's journey is so beautifully different. However you express it is so beautifully different. Get it out of you. Get it out of you. Sing it out. Make love to it. Okay, so at first it might not come out so great. Then you'll work on that, right? It's so different for all of us, but so similar. You're going to find that each person's journey is so different and so similar. We have the heavy and the light. We all have the heavy and the light. And we're all trying to find that balance between the heavy and the light. I can't be too high vibe all the time and too love and light all the time and everything. I have to sometimes be, I'll kick you in the fucking neck in the name of love. And I have to find the balance in that, right? Because if you're too light all the time, then you're up in your head. If you're too dark all the time, then you're down lower and then your body's off. You have to get into your heart. We don't trust our hearts from systematical avoidance, from the systematical avoidance that kept recreating the hurt that we experienced, even though we knew we didn't want it, and then it proves to you that it's right, but it's not really right. It's really an illusion that your heart is blocked off, and you don't have compassion for the devil outside, so you don't have the compassion for the devil inside, right? Learn through your shadows. Send love to your shadows. Send love to the devil. Send love to the evil. Send love to the hurt. That's when you know you have compassion. That's real compassion. I'm not Luciferian. I'm not Catholic-tarian. I'm not any vegetarian. I'm not any of that. I send love to my shadows. I've been learning how to make love to my shadows. I've been learning how to love me in my shadows, how to speak better in my shadows, how to take my time in my shadows, how to rest and relax in my shadows, how to call in the right people in my shadows, how to take the things that happen bad to me and see that it's all fucking me. It's all me. You aren't alone. You aren't alone in this. It feels like it at first, I know, but you are not alone. Everybody is going from systematical avoidance to fully feeling themselves and trying to learn what this all means. It's risky, yes, but very rewarding. Watch your words. Make love to your words. Make love to your words. I have to get off here, guys, because I have a session coming up. You know, I'm working on this with you guys. You know, it's an internal behavior that pulls you off track. It's an internal behavior that attracts certain things into your life. Darkness isn't a punishment. Darkness isn't an attack. Darkness isn't, it's an experience. It's an experience. You know, I look back through my experiences that felt so dark and felt so deep and felt so nasty and everything. And like, when you find the compassion for it, you actually see that it is love. Not right away. See what prevents us from clarity. You know, we have to become the master of our own destiny. And so the more that you blame others and the more that you look at others and the more that you pay attention to others, that's the less time you're spending with yourself. And that's up to you. You know, we have to find self-trust. We have to work on our habits. We have to pay attention to what's happening with what is our subconscious, unconscious mind creating, right? We need to work on being fearless. What are you afraid of? That's your personal journey, right? I'm here to help you, but it's yours. You know, we all are psychic. We all are connected. We all do really know all this stuff. It's like a remembering. It's like coming out of that slumber of that self-avoidance into this feeling place and the remembering, and then the pain that comes in and when you're learning these lessons, and then how to alchemize that pain into love, right? How are you behaving in your life? How are your interactions with people? How are you behaving with your work? How are you behaving with your money? How are you behaving with your food? How are you behaving with your love? How are you behaving with your kids? How are you behaving when nobody's watching? That's deep. You know, social avoidance is when you disown your feelings of disappointment. So a lot of us have disappointment out here. We feel disappointed in certain things and we avoid that. We don't talk about that because of so-and-so, and we don't want to affect so-and-so, and we don't want to hurt this person and that person and everything. But that's the place where the social avoidance is. It's a disowning of your own feelings. And then what happens in that space is that you give up on your desire to avoid hurt. Right? So you disown your feelings of disappointment. And so then right in that moment when you disown your feelings, you give up on your desires of your heart. And so that's why you feel so bad. And that's why you need to sit with that and own your feelings and sit with them and love them and cherish them and honor them. Right? And then that's how you end up amplifying yourself toward your desires. If you messed up, try again. We get 86,000 breaths a day to do this. Do it. Start again. Find compassion for the devil, guys. You know, the master deceiver in you. Embrace your inner trickster. Where is that for you? Love on that. Give in to your temptations, right? So, you know, people go on these diets and they don't work and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, I was craving pizza for like 45 days and then I ate like 12. I can't stop eating them. You know, if you're on a diet and you have a temptation for pizza, like, eat it. You know, that's what I do. I mean, it can't be like, if you're working on that and that's something you're working on, it can't be like an everyday thing, but like, you know, once a week or something when you're trying to cut it out, like, because if you avoid it, it just follows you. And that's an energy term. So the pizza term goes into the boyfriend term, goes into the work term, goes into all that stuff. You know, give love to your compulsive choices. A lot of us are out here and we make compulsive choices when we're angry or when we're triggered or whatever. And then we are like, oh, yeah, I forgive them, but we don't forgive ourselves. We have to forgive ourselves. We have to have compassion for ourselves. We have to have compassion for our impulsive choices that we make sometimes. And we all do it. You're deceiving yourself if you say you don't do it. You know, you're deceiving yourself if you're focused on the evil and what the evil is doing to you. Sorry, guys, I keep looking at the clock because I have a session. You know, give compassion to yourself for feeling hopeless. Compassion you. That's what she always says. I love when she says that. And like, I didn't love it as much as I do today, and she started saying it like a couple years ago. You create it all, guys. You create it all. You already know. And conversations like this and people and situations and things that come up and things that come on your porch are just coming up to remind you. And I love you because we're all connected, and I'm doing this work too. And so if you need someone to talk to about this in a way that will help you neutralize, message me. You know, that's what unconditional love is. Unconditional love neutralizes. You know, shows you a wider perspective of it. Lets you know that it's you when you're blaming somebody else. It's not always like smooth, you know what I mean? You got to work on that. It takes training to get your self-love to be a good relationship, you know, just like it takes time in relationships. You know, from everything that happens that you don't want, it helps you get more specific about what you do want. I love you guys. One love.